interesting applications.
Great. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Talia. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Last time I was here, I talked a little bit about the importance of stories associated with these innovations. Today, I'd like to give you a little bit of background about a project that we run and a little bit about Vodafone. Got two tools here with me. Hopefully it works. Aha. So Vodafone is a global telecommunications company. If you've traveled to Europe, you've probably seen us all over the place. One particular thing of interest that I might mention is that we have 26 foundations worldwide. I run the foundation here in the United States called Vodafone Americas Foundation. And we run a fairly large initiative called the Wireless Innovation Project. Whoops. It's advancing on its own. The Wireless Innovation Project is a competition that we run annually to find the best wireless innovation that makes social impact. So it could be wireless, it could be mobile. The first place winner receives $300,000 over 3 years. The second place, $200,000. The third place, $100,000 over 3 years. And okay, it's not working. Aha! We look for these innovations in 5 specific areas: health, health, education, access to communication, economic development, and environment or disaster relief. And obviously, in any one of those areas, the innovation must be mobile or wireless. It has to move the technology forward, and it has to make impact or social change. And these are the 5 areas, some of the examples that we are looking for in the 5 areas. I'm not going to go through all of them, but for example, in health, it might be a mobile application that allows diagnosis in remote areas or in areas where doctors, clinics, and hospitals are few and far between. Or in education, it may be an application to provide education in remote areas, something to bridge the digital divide. And environment and disaster relief, it may be for preparing for communication after disasters. You can find information on our website for any of the criterias. But what I'd like to do right now is kind of shift gears and talk about something else. When you're clicking through our website, Vodafone-US.com, and trying to find the Wireless Innovation Project site, you'll see this picture here, kind of like a pie in the sky type of example that I wanted to set. But on the lower corner, you'll see a quote, and I'll read it to you. "Science is but a perversion of itself unless it has for its goal the betterment of humanity." And this was a quote from Nikola Tesla. Does anybody know who Nikola Tesla is? Oh, this is good. This is a good audience. I was really worried that you'd associate him with the electric car. But I think they named the car after him. So he's a Serbian-American scientist from the 1800s. He has oodles and oodles of patents and experiments. And he discovered okay, I'm going to mess this up, accelerated AC, current? Alternating. We have the scientist in the front row. Alternating current, right? And he worked for he worked for Thomas Edison, he worked for George Westinghouse, and the one thing about him is that aside from being known as a mad scientist, and aside, okay, from being known as a mad scientist, in the 1800s, that's 1893, he predicted the possibility of wireless communications. That's in the 1800s. He predicted that wireless communications, in fact, mobile communications that we have now, might be possible. Does that work? So the kind of person he was, he didn't settle for what he had at the time. He wanted more. He looked for more. He improved what he had. He made it more efficient and more effective. And what we found in the winners of our project, and I have to tell you, we didn't specifically go out looking for them because you know that we set the criteria that it has to be multidisciplinary, cross-collaborative, and all of that, and a good budget and business plan. But what we found was that our winners all similarly didn't settle for just what they had. They didn't just settle for the tool they created. They wanted to make it better. They wanted to make it more efficient, more productive. So it wasn't just that they were looking for ways to find clean water and financial access for the poor by creating an app for banking and mobile money. They found ways, in one particular point that I wanted to make, is to find data and to harness that data to make their product better. And then aside from that, if they couldn't make good use of that data, they provided it to someone else who can influence change with that data. And then most importantly and profoundly, what we found with our winners is the passion that they had. They had passion for the work they did. They had the passion for the people they were working with, and they had passion for the people they were helping. So that's why we always come back to this page. And then I hope that when you click through and go on our website and look for our winners, that you'll remember the quote by Nikola Tesla. Now I'd like to welcome you. I'd like to welcome the winners on stage, but before we do that, I'd like you to see a short video about our winners.
The Wireless Innovation Project sponsors innovative technologies that can provide the infrastructure for communities to become more robust, to build upon, to become healthier.
Seva means service in Hindi, and what Seva does is bringing sustainable sanitation to local populations.
In developing communities, many international aid organizations are investing in water treatment technologies, and these water treatment technologies are breaking, but the developing communities are unequipped to repair these technologies. So when a sanitation technology breaks, we can install sensors to figure out how that technology broke and when it breaks. And then the second part is enabling communities to be able to repair that technology by sending a series of pictures to their mobile phones that give explicit, easy to follow instructions to repair these sanitation technologies.
So with Seva, we reduce the cost to maintain the technologies, and we also enable local population to take care of them.
Vodafone's Wireless Innovation Project is similar to venture capital in its promoting ideas. The fundamental difference is what we're trying to do is take ideas not for capital gain, but for social good.
We are building remote monitoring technology that improves visibility and accountability for rural water projects in the developing world.
So 750 million people don't have access to clean water currently. And oftentimes this is not because there's no water infrastructure at all, but because there was something and it broke down. And so the reason why things break so quickly is because organizations can't invest in operation and maintenance because they can't monitor those investments.
So we've built a device that measures flow rate in rural water projects, initially flow rate, and it measures how much water is flowing on a daily basis and then reports that over the cellular network to a central location where it can be used to analyze systemic large-scale trends as well as to send specific notifications to the people on the ground who are responsible for maintaining the infrastructure as it breaks.
So what we're doing is building the tools that empower local communities to build reliable infrastructure that lasts.
For me, the most exciting thing about the Wireless Innovation Project is how we are using technology as the catalyst to really magnify and scale the impact that you can do on the ground in developing countries.
Mobility democratizes innovation all around the world. We are seeing people of all ages invent new tools to solve real-world problems.
Our project is a low-cost pulmonary disease diagnostic platform implemented on a mobile phone.
Pulmonary disease is a particularly large burden in developing countries because developing countries have lax air regulation for air pollution. A lot of people smoke, and half of the world still cooks on fire stoves, which generate a lot of smoke and produce a lot of respiratory problems.
So the typical way you diagnose these pulmonary diseases is through a battery of tests. You use 3 main machines, and each of them cost tens of thousands of dollars. In addition, they require advanced training on the part of the technician, all of which is prohibitive in the developing world context. So our solution was to take a series of devices that cost under $100 combined and combine them with some intelligence on a smartphone to diagnose these diseases.
We want to put our mobile platform in the hands of health workers so we can really transform the way that pulmonary diagnostics is currently done, not only in India, but throughout the developing world.
So the Wireless Innovation Project provides that important boost right at that really crucial moment to help these companies go from a really great idea to impacting millions of people around the world.
Now I'd like to introduce you to this year's winners and to come on stage. Go ahead. Sorry. Move the line up this way. Before I introduce the groups at a time, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the awards that we provide. When we were thinking of giving them trophies like the Academy Awards, we were trying to find, what's the kind that you can hold and, you can display it and everybody will talk about it. But rather than going the traditional way, we found these African hand-woven baskets. And what's really interesting about them is they're made from recycled telephone wire. So it's kind of symbolic, from wired to wireless, and it's from a sustainable business, and so kind of more of a symbol for us. So the third place winner is from MIT D-Lab, D-Lab as in development lab, and it is the mobile stethoscope.
Thank you, June. Mobile phones are transforming the way we do health diagnostics in low-resource settings around the world. This award will help fund the first comprehensive clinical study to diagnose pulmonary disease in rural India. Thank you very much.
The second place winner is Well Done Mobile.
Thank you, June. As you saw in the video, failure rates in rural water systems are a systemic problem, and it's a really big issue that a lot of people are trying to solve. We think that using this technology, we can change the metrics for success for development projects from building infrastructure to providing long-term, sustainable, and reliable service to the people who need it most. And this award's really going to help us do that. So thank you very much.
And the first place winner is from Caltech for the Caltech Sanitation Project.
So sanitation is a problem in the developing world that kills hundreds of millions every year. And we've developed a technology, or are developing a technology, that can empower anyone of any educational background to be able to maintain and repair these sanitation systems, which will ensure a lasting sanitation solution. With the generous money from Vodafone, we'll be able to prototype and field test our mobile technology.
So thank you very much for this opportunity, and if any of you would like to talk to them, they'll be around during the conference. So thank you. Congratulations.